Hello, my people. Happy Saturday. How y'all doing? To all my new subscribers, you're welcome. And my returning subscribers, you all know I love you. Guys, MAGA is a mess. MAGA is in trouble. Remember this kid who went around here and unalived people? Kyle Rittenhouse? It was a few years ago during the protest. Remember? Yep. The kid came back now. He's not gonna vote for Donald Trump. So we have Dr. Arlene. She want to tell y'all a little bit what's going on. And you know, Dr. Arlene is my friend here on TikTok. So y'all go subscribe to her channel, go follow her on TikTok. Yeah, so she's doing a good job at educating us about the politics. She's a former professor of political science for lots of years. Yeah, before you and some of us were not born, she was teaching politics. So y'all, yeah, let's listen to Dr. Arlene Unfiltered. Now, just a warning, the sound is really not too loud on that video, but you're gonna hear what she's saying. So try to put on your speakers, put something there to kind of amplify the sound so you can hear what she is saying.
Politics 101, Dr. Arlene Unfiltered. I'm a former professor of political science and have been studying politics, government, and elections for 40 years. Now, for all of you who have been following me for the last 7 days that I've been here, I apologize that I'm making this introduction each time at the beginning of the videos because there are now 90,000 people on this account in just the last full 7 days, and so they're not going back through all of the videos. They don't have any idea who I am or why I'm talking or saying anything and why anybody would want to listen to me. And so I apologize. I know it's really redundant. I hate having to say it over and over again, but I guess until we reach a critical mass, I'm just going to apologize in advance. Just know this introduction is coming. It's kind of like your social proof in a way, so that people understand, okay, well, who are you? Instead of requiring them to go look at the profile. So I apologize. Okay, so it is August the 2nd, and I want to address something that is in the news today. It's not significant in the grand scheme of things, but it is big news in MAGA circles. And forgive me as I'm going to look at my screen back and forth here. And that is that there's this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, who has become like the poster child for the MAGAs. And he became famous because, and I'll give you the specifics, he shot 3 people, 2 of them fatally, during protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin in August of 2020. And those protests were because a white police officer shot Jacob Blake, a 29-year-old black man, and he was left paralyzed from the waist down. And so Kyle Rittenhouse was charged with first-degree murder and many other charges, and he was acquitted of all of the charges. And so, I mean, if those of you who remember this will recall, like, there was a huge uproar about this kid because it's like, how does this kid get away with, like, people are protesting, police violence, and then this kid comes in with a gun and starts shooting people. And then he gets off. So there's been a tremendous amount of outrage about this kid. And of course, the MAGAs just latched onto him, and he became their poster child. So the reason he's in the news today is because he has come out and declared that he is not voting for Donald Trump. Now, don't think that, this is a happy dance because somehow Kyle Rittenhouse has seen the light and decided he's going to vote for Kamala Harris. No, he's going to use his vote and write in a candidate, and in his case, it's for this guy named Ron Paul. And so The reason this is of note is because the MAGAs are actually going crazy on social media right now, attacking Kyle Rittenhouse and just blasting him because of everything that Donald Trump did for him and everybody else has done for him, and he's a traitor, and now they're turning their venom and vitriol in his direction. And so that's really excellent for Kamala Harris, because now their attention is taken away from her because there is a traitor among them. And so the news cycle being taken up with that is excellent, because it just means it's one more day that they are wasting time in terms of trying to deal with that. Kamala Harris is the candidate, and as I have called in the past, that I am predicting that she's going to win. It's one more day of the news cycle where Trump is not capitalizing on, some way of addressing her as his opponent and why he would be a better president than she would. And so it's a complete burn of the media, of the 24-hour news cycle. And it's, the more of these kinds of things that happen, the more people's attention are taken away from the reality of what's happening on the ground, which is this groundswell of support that continues to grow on behalf of Kamala Harris. And so as you see the news coming up each day, think about it in terms of, would this have any impact on the election in terms of, what people are thinking about, what they care about, the extent to which it affects them. And most of all, for those of you who are going to be voting for Kamala Harris, the extent to which this actually hurts Donald Trump and benefits Kamala Harris. So as you see the news every single day and start piecing these things together, you get more and more of a sense of how things are going to go in November. And that's how I piece things together. It's never just a one-off, as I've said before. And this story about Kyle Rittenhouse in isolation would just be about, he was the MAGA's poster child, and now they're mad at him because he's not going to vote for Donald Trump, but he's a defector from the MAGAs, which means there's the crack in the armor. And so the question for the MAGAs have to be, if their poster child, Kyle Rittenhouse, has chosen to defect, who else is going to defect? And it can leave them with a feeling of isolation, and that maybe things are not exactly as they thought. And just as an aside, the reason that Kyle Rittenhouse is not going to vote for Donald Trump is because he feels that Donald Trump isn't solid enough on the Second Amendment right to have a gun. So there you go. Class dismissed.
Well, guys, this news is everywhere, and I wonder, why are these people counting on little children like Kyle? This is a relatively young child. They ruined his life. The kid unalived someone. I wonder how come he's out here. Why is he not in prison? I mean, does MAGA have some people with intellect? The people with whom we can talk, sit down and have debate on here? I mean, even their vice president is as dumb as Donald Trump. This is J.D. Vance. Well, some guys came out here. Apparently, he took some gay boy to that Applebee's a few years ago. I'm gonna play that video for y'all guys shortly. Let's go back and listen to Arlene Unfiltered. There's some. I'm not sure. Apparently, some people are already voting in other states. How does that happen? The candidates are there. Don't know. Who are they voting for, and how is it happening? Apparently in Tennessee, people are already voting. So I'm going to let the doctor explain it to y'all guys. This is confusing. We all learning, I tell you.
Politics 101, Dr. Arlene Unfiltered. I'm a former political science professor, and I've been studying politics, government, and elections for 40 years. So I got a message this morning from someone who just today voted. There are certain states that have early voting, and so they just voted today in Johnson City, Tennessee, and said that the poll worker, the people working at the polling stations, actually attempted to select this voter's political party on the voting machine. Okay, this is crazy because the poll workers are not allowed to be in the area where you are casting your vote, and absolutely not anywhere near those machines. And this guy was about to select the Republican Party for this voter, like just casually pressing a button, which would have been a vote for all of the Republicans, and then it would have been left to the voter to have to go back and undo all of that. So anyways, you need to be really on the watch out if you are going into a voting booth that has an actual machine. You have to be there alone, and you need to check and make sure that nothing has been tampered with that machine. So you're making sure that none of the levers have been pulled for any of the candidate. That is for you to do. Okay, so you have to be, don't be scared, be prepared. Know that this kind of stuff can happen, and so you are on the lookout for it. So nobody allowed near the voting machines, nobody allowed near the little booth area or the little table that has little cardboard around it where you actually write on your ballot and so forth. Nobody's allowed near you when you are casting your ballot. And in the polling stations, all of the machines there is distance between them to make sure that you're able to do this in private. Also now, the other thing is that when you go to the polling station, if they're giving you a paper ballot, you need to check the ballot front and back to make sure there's no writing on it, no little marks, no little stray marks here and there, no frayed edges, nothing torn or anything like that, because that can disqualify your ballot. So you want to absolutely make sure, check the front and the back of that ballot to make sure it is pristine, and if it is not, you go ask for another one. If there's anything wrong with that ballot, you keep asking until you get a ballot that is perfectly pristine. Okay, I'm going to keep talking about this from now until election day, so that, I know people don't see every single video that I make, so I'm just going to keep reinforcing this in every video. The other thing is you have to double check your voter registration, because this is happening already, where voter registration rolls are being cleaned, meaning the list of people who have registered to vote, they're taking names off of it, because there are people claiming that other people are not eligible to vote. And so you have to just double check. I would say you should be checking this pretty much when you have your morning coffee. That is my voter registration still being recognized, and you make sure on the morning of voting day, if you're going to the polls, that you're still being recognized, because your name will be on that list when you get to the voting station. So these are just sort of like, okay, we are not afraid, we are prepared, we know what to expect. We go into the day of voting anticipating that people will be up to no good, and look for it. Okay, you just have to be on the lookout for the possibility there is something. Who knows how it might appear? Just be looking for something. I mean, a lot of you have voted like year after year after year, and you know what these ballots look like. If there is something that doesn't look right, then just go get another ballot. So anyways, those are sort of my public service announcement for this morning. And as people are coming back and sending reports to me between now and November, I will pass that information on to you in the form of these videos. So that's it for this one, and now we'll get started with the other videos that are all about we're going to class. All right, thanks.
Okay, this comes up to if you have your grandmama, you have your grandpapa who cannot go to vote by themselves, who needs help. Yo, take that time off and go drive your grandmama there. Take that time and go drive your grandpapa, because this one here is illegal, whatever is happening there. We have to be more vigilant with these people. Yeah, this is kind of bad news. It's kind of concerning. And what's going on? Guys, please drop down and comment here. What's going on? How do you vote early? How does that happen? Which candidate? Okay. I don't know. We're just gonna wait to see, to hear more. I'm gonna wait to hear more from y'all guys. Please drop the comments here below. I'll talk to y'all guys again later.